Hey everybody, it's Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. I hope everybody's doing good today. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little adorable spider. Isn't he cute? Cute, cute, cute. Alright, that's what we're going to make today. And we're going to use, and you can use any size foam ball you want to. So you just kind of got to make the materials for the size that you want. But for this one, I'm going to use the other half of a 6-inch foam ball to do this. To cover my foam ball, we're going to use, or my styrofoam ball, we're going to use some foam to do it. Now what I want to do first is I want to measure my foam before I cut it, before I start heating it up. Because I don't want my foam to be too big, because then I would waste it. So I'm just going to kind of like measure it, fold it up so that I can cover the sides. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And then I've got a scrap box that those will go into for use later on if needed. So I'm going to set this aside. Now, to form the foam over my, I'm going to use a mug to set it on. You can use whatever you want to, but I'm going to use a mug to set mine on because I feel like you need something so when you're pulling this down after you mold, you need something so you can pull down further over to make it easier to pull down. I hope that makes sense. Y'all see it here in a minute. So to heat this up, you can either use a skillet, you can use an iron, but I'm just going to use my heat gun, so we're going to have a little bit of noise while I heat this up to form it over the ball. So if you have a heat gun, you want to go evenly back and forth to heat it up. As it starts to get warm, you'll notice that it starts to kind of roll up. I like to flip mine over. Because I think it makes it heated up quicker. Now, if you use like an iron for clothes, use it on high. And it actually makes this go quicker if you use a skillet because it's putting the heat all over at one time. So it does make it go quicker. I just prefer the heat gun because I'm able to store it in my work area better since I don't do this all the time. So as you notice, I kind of flipped it over again. If you were using an iron, you would already be ready to put this on. See, the warmer it gets, the more it's rolling up. That's the other reason I like to flip it over, is because it helps warm it up and I'm not having to fight against that roll. So as I do this, because you kind of want to move pretty quick, I'm going to pull my styrofoam ball closer. Then you're going to pull this down. Now, see what I was talking about having to pull it down? If you try to do this on a flat surface, you wouldn't be able to pull your foam down as much. Now I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to just start smoothing it as it cools and hold my hands around it so I don't have any wrinkles. Okay, so now that we got it formed, we need to glue it on. So I'm going to grab my hot glue gun. It's on low temp. And I'm going to go around my edge here on the inside. And I'm going to put hot glue down. Going to set it back on my and then just start smoothing it down again. And once again, I'm going to keep doing this until the hot glue cools down. Kind of wish I had bigger hands right now. It's funny, this is purple, it's not blue, y'all. For some reason, purple in the camera looks blue. Alright, so some of it didn't, which happens. So I'm just going to go back and add a little bit more hot glue and hold it down while it cools. Am I the only one that blows on my hot glue like I've got better things to do? Hurry up. Any place where it doesn't look like it's stuck is what I'm fixing right now. Sorry, didn't mean to pull that off camera, y'all. I didn't realize it till I looked over. But I was just fixing little places. So this one is going to be a female. Alright. So now we have that on there, we're going to trim the excess off. So you just kind of go around your ball. And I set the blade of my scissor on the ball so I get a nice even trim. There's a couple of places that are a little bit high, so we're going to go back and get that. And then we have our foam on. So the next step to cover the bottom, I chose to use felt to cover the bottom. You can use foam if you want to, but I'm just going to use felt. So I'm just going to take, cut a piece about as big as my styrofoam ball, and set the rest to the side. Then I notice I got a little piece right here. Having these places in is really, really kind of important. So I'm going to fix that really quick. Let me clean my cutting board off. Alright, so now what we're going to do that we fix those little spots is we're going to go around our outer edge with some hot glue again. You want to get close enough that you're not going to ooze out the edge, but also not have a lift out. So just be careful when you're coming around with hot glue, because you don't want this oozing out the edge. And it's low temp, so you're going to have to move pretty quick along your edge, otherwise your glue will cool. The reason I did that and flipped it back over is sometimes the hot glue goes through the felt, and I didn't want my project stuck to my cutting board. So once again, we're going to cut off the excess, and I'm just going to go around the edge here with my blade of my scissor up against the side of my ball to cut the excess off. And this by far is easier than just drawing a circle and trying to put the circle on there and getting it to fit. And I'll just go around and trim the edge up. So now you have the bottom covered and your top covered. So the next thing we want to do is, you know, Halloween isn't Halloween without a little bit of glitter. You can either use Elmer's glue, make sure that it's going to dry clear though, or you can use Mod Podge. Okay, Mod Podge takes a little bit longer to dry. Ultimately, I'm going to seal mine with Mod Podge so that I don't have glitter all over the place. So because the Elmer's glue does dry quicker, we're going to have to move pretty fast. So I'm actually going to take the lid off so I'm not having to sit there and squirt, squirt, squirt. And I'm going to dump some on the top. And then I've got a sponge brush to paint it around. So we need a little bit more. Now you can squirt it around if you want to. It just takes quite a bit longer. So I'm making this one for my daughter. So let me ask her a question real quick because I didn't ask her before I started recording and we're at that point. Tiffany, do you want black glitter or just clear glitter?
Black glitter.
Alright, so we'll use black glitter because that's what my daughter wants.
Yay! And then I'll go back to being silent.
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm going to do something to make this easier for myself to do that. I'm just going to get a little stick. Let me get a stick and stick it up through the bottom. Hold on. I should have thought about that in the first place. I did my other one different. But that's okay. So you want to make sure that you make this smooth as possible because otherwise you like have a gloppy dry. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't have like a bunch of excess. So now we did that. My daughter wants black glitter, so we'll add black glitter. You can use whatever kind of glitter you want.
You can use.
And we're just going to start shaking some glitter on. And we're going to make a huge mess with the glitter because that's what glitter does. Even though I had a paper plate to try and catch it all, y'all see how well that's working out at the moment. So you all actually might want to go outside to do this.
Or
You can't help it. It's a ball. It's going to like bounce right off.
Or you can get something bigger than a paper plate.
So I'm trying to make sure that the purple kind of shows through. And we get some glitter going on here. So, now that I have glittered myself and my whole house now, it happens, y'all. We are going to set that aside to dry. And we're going to work on the legs.
They're gonna be fluffy ones.
And I'm going to ask my assistant to go get me a paper towel. Tiffany, would you go get me a paper towel, please?
Yes, I will. Because, again, we can't avoid glitter. Unfortunately.
Alright, so let's get this glitter mess cleaned up real quick, and then we're going to go to work on the legs.
Here you go, Mama.
I have a towel that I keep around my work area to get glitter off. I have found that that works best to get the glitter off. Okay, so now we got the glitter cleaned up. We are ready to work on our legs. So these are called fluffy pom-poms. You can get these at most craft stores. You can actually get them online through Amazon, eBay also. They come in different sizes. These are about 1 inch. And then I've got some wire that I have cut for this. This is that same wire. It's 18 gauge. Let me show y'all. This is the same wire. It's that 18 gauge that I've been using for the top hats. You can pick this up at Walmart. It comes in 110 feet, so you're going to get several projects out of this. I think it was only like $5. So you'll get several projects out of this. And this part is super, super easy. We're going to get the hot glue gun out. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our first pom-pom. And we're going to start it, but we're just going to like start it. Got that black glitter all over the place. And we're going to put a little hot glue in that one. Now, make sure that you don't put this all the way down. You want to put this like halfway. You don't want to put that all the way through, because this is going to be the bottom of your foot, so you don't want to stab somebody with the wire. Okay? And then we're just going to start putting our pom-poms on. I cut this wire about 10 inches. And just remember, I've got a 6-inch styrofoam ball, so I cut these 10 inches for my project. Whatever project or how big you choose to make your spider, you'll just have to, kind of decide. I would recommend if you were using like a 3-inch, I would probably cut these just 5 inches long. And there we have our first leg. So we're going to do it again, the first one. So you're going to poke that through just a little bit. Sometimes they don't poke through quite that easy. Going to shoot some hot glue in there to make it stop, because you don't want this coming all the way out. And these balls, just as you can see, they just shoot right on. And it's just that easy to make these legs. Pretty cute, huh? Now these balls that I got, they're about 1 inch. And I'm using 4 of each color. Of course, that's just what I chose to do. This actually really doesn't take that long to do. So that's just why I'm kind of going to record this so y'all can see these really don't take that long to do because we're doing, whoop, uh-oh. We're doing this while the spider is over there drying. I like that these just like stab on. It's just makes it so much easier because when I first got these, I thought I was going to like put a hole in them and it was going to take so much longer, but they just slide right on. So that kind of excited me that I didn't have to get my ice pick out and had to put holes in every little ball as I went. Because I had a plan. I was going to stack them all on there and so we just got a couple more legs to go. Let's see how it's going really quick. I got these in an assortment. My daughter was nice enough to sort them out into separate packages for me,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't have to pick through anymore. No, sometimes they don't go on, so I just kind of like turn them till they finally do. Hey, Tiffany. My
Yeah.
assistants help y'all. As y'all know right now, I can't walk. I am one green short of a good time, please.
Uh-huh. One green coming up.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And a one, and a two, and a boop.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we're on the last leg now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My daughter's over here getting excited because this is spiders for her.
Man, see something on. No. I like it. I like it. I like it so far. I like the legs and the spider body. It looks like it's hairy. Hairy. She will need a name later on. But not right now.
Alright, so now that we got the poof balls on the legs, there's something else that we need to do to the legs. Now, if you don't have a pick machine, I'm not sure what to do, to be honest. So if you have a suggestion, let us all know. But this is what I came up with. When you put this into the styrofoam ball, special leg, it's just going to spin. So what I did to create stability is I took my needle nose pliers, and this excess I'm going to bend over. And I'm going to do it a couple times, just like that. Now, the reason that I'm doing that is because the pick in the pick machine needs something to hold on to. Now, the reason that I chose to use picks from the pick machine for this project is the teeth in the picks will keep the feet from spinning. I'd like to think that the just hot gluing them in would be enough, but I don't know. So but that's what I did for the feet. So if you have a better solution, another solution, because I know not everybody has a pick machine, and I don't want, as y'all know, I don't want people to feel like they have to run out to buy one. Definitely please let us know. Like I said, this was just the solution that I came up with what I have. I had tried folding it over once, and the pick still came out. So that's why we're having to really double it over. So that the pick has something to hold on to. Whoop. My foot came off, y'all. My foot came off. Let's fix that. We fix it. Alright, we'll set that one to the side and get another one while that cools. I'll pull that back a little bit because y'all still be able to see. So like I said, I'm just folding these over. Kind of like if you're, for a pick, if your stem on your flower isn't big enough, it won't grip it very well at all. Oh, the woes of the pick machine. There we go. Now we're back on track. Most of my tools work pretty good 99% of the time, except for the pick machine. Pick machine works good 75% of the time. It has its own little temper to it, I think we'll call it. Alright. So now we got all our picks on our legs. Still waiting for our styrofoam ball to dry a little bit more. So let's make the bow that goes on our spider. Because he has a green bow tie, I think we will make hers well, let's just ask Tiffany since it's her spider. What color bow do you want for your spider?
What do you think is best? I mean, you're making it.
We can do green.
Yeah, like matching. Yeah, you could put like the bow on her head.
So what I'm going to do is, because I've got scraps, so instead of digging out a fresh piece of foam for the bow, I'm going to pull out a scrap piece. It's good to keep your scraps. Never know when you might need something smaller. So the bow on the bow tie on the spider, I know I cut it about 3 inches by 3 inches. That was a really good size. So that's what we'll do here. And instead of getting my rotary cutter out, I'm just going to slowly eyeball it. So I did a 3 by 3 square, basically is what I did. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to fold it back and forth like a fan. And I'm doing this one a little bit tighter, a little bit smaller than I did the bow tie to make it look more like a bow. So we're going to put a couple extra folds in the bow for the spider. So what you're going to do now is in the creases, going to dab some hot glue in those creases. And we're going to do that on both sides. Let it cool down a bit. I have glue and hot glue all over my fingers, y'all. All right. So what I'm going to do is I kind of want to fold this in thirds so I don't need so much, so I'm going to cut some of it off. And this is what I choose to do for this, is I'm just going to fold this in thirds just like that. And I'm just going to put a bead of hot glue to hold that down. Now, I could have done it once, but I wanted to do it twice because it's supposed to be a bow. So I wanted this little knot in the middle to look a little bit fluffier. Because, you know, it's a girl, so we want it to be girly girl. Apparently not too girly girl from the peanut gallery in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have our little bow for the top of our spider's head. Set that aside so it can cool off. Alright. So now we have all of our stuff ready to assemble our spider. Now this is still a little bit wet. Not bad. So I can go ahead and move forward. And I'm not worried about it. Now what I did to make sure my spider legs were fairly even. I used my cutting mat and I set my legs about I set them about 1.5 inches apart. And now how I did that to mark it. Yep, y'all, I got out the ice pick. But I started at, like I said, so I'm going to go, like I said, 1.5 inches apart. And to do that, I'm kind of scooting it every time. So I got the 4 holes. So what I did to make sure it was even is I'm going to go ahead and put the first 4 legs in.
Can I like put eyelashes on the spider?
I guess, if I can. If I have it in my ability. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little glue on both sides of my pick. Now, I found it was a little bit hard, so that's why we're just going to use pliers to finish pushing that pick in. Don't overdo the glue because otherwise you'll have a hot glue mess coming out of your ball. So if you just take your needle nose pliers on the end and just finish pushing it in there. So ultimately what I'll do with this one I'm done is I will take it outside and I will spray seal it so I don't have glitter going all over the place. And what I'll use to seal it will be a clear lacquer sealer. A glossy one. Don't ever use a matted sealer. If you use a matted sealer, it will change the color of your project. So what I did is I'm going to look at how I have them aimed up, and I'm going to come straight across. So I'm kind of using the lines on my mat to aim them up, and come straight across. And now that we have those, we're going to go back and finish putting our legs in. I'm putting my legs in about 1.5 inches up from the bottom of the ball. That's just kind of what looked best to me. So now we got the legs in. So let's put some eyes on here. See how cute that is? That is like really, really cute, y'all. Okay, so now my daughter has decided that she wants some eyelashes. And I was sitting here while I was putting the legs in going, how do we do that? But I figured it out. Not a problem.
What's
So,
your solution, Mama?
here we go. So we're going to put the eyes on first. And I'm going to look really quick in my scrap box to see if I've got, and I think I do.
Excuse me.
I do. So I got the larger googly eyes from Walmart. So we're going to kind of put them high up on the top of the head because, you know, if you're going to put this on the wreath, you want the eyes to be seen. So we're going to go a little bit higher. With the eye. Alright, so now my daughter wants eyelashes. Pretty cool idea. We're going to run with it, y'all.
Yay.
Alright, so what we're going to do is this time I am going to get my rotary cutter. And I'm going to cut this about 1 inch. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and we're just going to make some cuts, y'all. them very, very small. And I'm going pretty close to the edge. This reminds me of those eyelashes that they put on some of those cars. Alright. So I don't think it's going to take that much for each, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut this in half. And then we're going to kind of size this up. Y'all, I don't even put eyelashes on. This is the most girly girl I've gotten. Alright. So we're just going to go right above the eye. And lay down a little bit of hot glue. I think we're going to have to trim the eyelash, y'all, but that's okay. I'd rather trim the eyelash than have to have a longer one. Yeah, we're definitely going to trim that down just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh. Oh.
We want the eyelashes, but we don't want our our spider to look like a lady.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. There you go. I can see that. So now, let's put her little bow on. Hold that there while it cools. And there you have it, y'all. The happy little female spider. And her friend.
Boyfriend.
I hope y'all enjoyed this. I can't wait to see the one that y'all make. Can't wait to see y'all's spiders. Thank y'all so much. And I am going to talk to y'all later. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.